Alrighty, the Nazis seized power. Where do I begin with that? The Nazis seized the power was definitely a good read. I absolutely enjoyed it. Alan had a very good points that, if you look in the history textbooks, they only go over to a small point. They never really explain how, especially with the Nazi regime, how it grew. You understand the basics of the Nazi regime gained the power because they took control over a certain section, but that's a lot of other politics as well. What Alan does in the text, he goes step by step where it started and where it ended. Nordheim was definitely where it started. To my discretion, is where it started. Due to the fact of the history, we learned so much history of just this one little town, but what can make a big difference out of it. Hitler took a very big opportunity within this text Alan brought up. His opportunities were very not they were very simple to a point of how Alan explained it. For example, for the pre-depression. So basic idea is this long before the depression hit. The government was already falling apart. Weimar Republic, KPD, SPD, they were splitting everything apart. Germany was at its down point at this point. And the Nazi Party believed that it was a strong point that this is what Germany needed, was a strong government. And the Nazi Party believed that they were one of them. And their main point was aim for the middle class. That was their main focal point. And with Alan's text, he explains it clearly that the middle class had its rough point. Most of Germany was full of the middle class. So the best way to aim for any kind of political aspect is to get there first. Then it continued. Once they had the opportunity to get to the middle class, they started attacking the other governments. Weimar Republic, SPD, KPD. Since they were going on their own little groups, they were only focused on themselves. The Nazi Party was easy to aim and target. Very well said the by by Alan, was he pointed out that he gave a good example by the name of Wilhelm Spanus, the anti-Marxist party. How he explained him was that Wilhelm would follow Hitler to the ends of the earth, even though he did not know Hitler's background, where it continued. And the weird thing is, in Nordheim, Wilhelm was very well known, and Wilhelm would point out, if Hitler's, I'm going to follow Hitler to the ends of the earth. People are like, oh, okay, I understand that, so we'll follow if you follow, because that can't be bad. It continued, and it grew, and it grew. The only problem that there was a big problem the KBD and the SPD failed at was they could not communicate. They could not work together. So they crumbled. They suffered, and they fell apart. The Nazi Party took advantage to a very good discretion. What attack that they aimed for was during the time of the Great Depression when it hit. The little town of Nordheim didn't suffer as much. A lot of other cities in Germany did not suffer as much because the middle class already had that fault due to the fact of the Treaty of Versailles after World War One. Hitler decided to use that fear. They knew about it, so he increased it. He utilized that fear that people had to give them that sense of this is going to happen and we're going to stop this mentality. Hmm. Then it became after the post-depression. It came it got a lot worse. Political opponents were not getting targeted. The Nazi Party started targeting, and that's when the Nazi Party started to grow and grow. Alan gives that a good point with all the violence and the whole idea of what the Nazi Party was aiming for. The Gestapo and the SA were growing due to the fact that the political party was already starting to grow at that point. Alan brought up a good idea where there were many clubs and organizations within Germany, and Hitler was going to target them. Pointed by Alan, if with the Nazi German Party growing, they thought if you're not part of the Nazi Party, you cannot be in the organization, you cannot join, or that pretty much the organization does not exist. So what they did was they put any Nazi regime follower in each program. in the program, if you did not like the idea, would go home or disappear, not show up. And that's where Adolf Hitler and Allen pointed out that that's where they were targeted. That's where the people, when the Nazi regime noticed who were against the Nazi Party, and that's who got targeted and who got sent to the concentration camps and who got pretty much either killed or shipped out. Um, and then after doing that, the construction boom kicked in. A lot more work getting everything set the growth of Germany. After that, it just kept increasing and increasing. The Nazi Party started to grow incisively. Pros to that, the pros is just what the Nazi regime did, and how Allen pointed out was, and it was an end of depression, an economic revival, beautification of the town. So going back right to the whole concept of the construction boom, the whole country of Germany grew back to the way it was after the World War II, after the Treaty of Versailles. It did not start slow, it grew and improved. It showed what the unification of Germany would be. The mentality that I think lacks is that we don't see where the final destination of the whole final solution kicks in. But this is only towards the beginning, towards when Nazi Germany was growing. Um, Efficient leadership, Nazi regime, SA, SS, Himmler's, they all just grew out of this. They took the biggest opportunity they had, and they ran with it. Other governments, KPD, SPD, Weimar Republic, they did not see that. They feared that. It grew so much. When they had that opportunity at one point, since they were going after each other, they lost that opportunity. They got themselves in the biggest hole, and they just saw it explode. They just kind of lost it. They lost the opportunity. The problems they had were that social lives were deteriorated. The clubs, if you were not, well, Germany was a social life. It was just you were very social in Germany. Once you were removed from the clubs, which that's what your social life was, once you were removed from that, you had no idea what was going on in the world. You might have to study up in the newspaper, but the thing is, you lost the entirety of having a social life. Since you have the ideas of not joining the Nazi Party, or you didn't I like the ideals of the Nazi Party, you lost your opportunity to do anything. System of terror. As pointed out with Allen, if you were against the Nazi Party, you were the biggest target. Communists, main mentality of socialists, they were the targets. After the Democratic Party, pretty much Weimar Republic got deteriorated due to the fact they were not strong enough to handle anything, they lost that opportunity. They lost every opportunity they can get. And even though that Allen pointed out pretty darn well where he was aiming for, the Nazi Party grew from this smallest little group, from an idea, and from a failure, and progressed through Germany's growth during the Great Depression after World War One. It was thanks to the Nazi Party that Germany had evolved from the time of the Great Depression. To my discretion, Allen has a lot more understanding of that, to a degree where he can explain it, each part from beginning to end. He keeps everything organized. He's good to a degree. He understands what he was talking. He understands how to explain things. He understands it, even though it's not really a good word to use. As the other texts and articles we have read, Allen gives the down low of how to comprehend what this time period was like, and shows that we can comprehend to a point where if we read the other articles, we can get a comprehension of how things work. Leads to how this grew from a small little group to the Nazi regime later on in life.